Okay, so okay. Good evening, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. It's good to be back again to our activities in IEEE. Last year, in 2021-22, we organized almost 8 to 9 workshops and seminars, and I'm happy to be the first to give presentation in this academic year. Hopefully, soon, inshallah, we will start inviting people in campus. So we will talk about the training. We will talk about some important topics, hot topics related to electricity. We will invite people from Majan and Majis and some other universities to train you, to give you from their experience and information. Today, our workshop is about presentation guideline. I expect that you already have some assignments in level 2, 3, or 4, or even project within the course, or even finally a project in some of you in level 4 already. So this presentation will be helpful because I will give some tips, some knowledge about how to give a good presentation, how to prepare for the presentation, and how to deliver a presentation, and how we organize our mindset to, let me say, to make our presentation a successful presentation. So my talk here is about project components, project lifecycle, project presentations, why present anything at all, and basic component of presentations, project presentation guideline, tips for better presentation, and the quality project presentation, and sources and references. So first of all, you need to know that projects is not only coming in academia, or let me say in undergraduate or postgraduate studies, but also um, your work as an engineer when you graduate and work somewhere will be projects given to you. As example, your supervisor, the company you work there, or organization, they will ask you to solve a problem. When a problem born, project born. When there is needs, there is uncertainty, the project will be there. Now, project uh, usually contain a title. You summarize everything in simple, concentrated statement which represent the title. And the project have a concept, and you propose a solution for a problem statement, and then you use some material or methods. Could be theoretical methods, could be simulation methods, could be experimental method, mix of these. And then you come up with some results, and then you put your work, your steps in a flowchart, or let me say Gantt chart, schedule to say that I will do this on that time, and so on, until you end with the solution of the project. Now, when you work on any assignment on any project, one of the elements you use in working through the solution is to present your information, your project. You need to present it. For there are many reasons why we need to present our work. Part of these, let me say, reasons are the pitch the project. You want to get feedback, exchange information with others to see their feedback, their impression about your project. Or you want to summarize the project for the team, for the faculty, the department, and so on. Or you want to report to your supervisor, to your, let me say, to your manager, your boss. You want to report to him the output of your project. When we say that you present this information, because what happens is uh, you work on something, but how you present this something and the experience you have, the information you get to others, this is something needs skills. You need to know how to go through it. So before I start talking about the presentation and what we have to contain in our presentation, let me say something about the project lifecycle. Now, as I mentioned, the project lifecycle, whatever the project, if it is in engineering, in different specialty, if it is in medicine, in whatever the topic you are working on, have four, let me say, phases. These phases simply is the initiation. And definitely there are many information to be covered in the initiation stage, starting from the boring of the project and to get request for a proposal. And then after you initiate, as you can see, this is the red one is the initiation, the green one is the planning. You plan the project. You make a proposal and you make within the proposal a schedule to execute the project and the methods and techniques and approaches you are going to use to execute the project. And when you complete the project, it's coming in the third, let me say, phase. You execute the project, you complete the project, and then you do close up, where you write the project and submit a report as example or a thesis, or plus, let me say, you present the information in a discussion, in a meeting, and so on. So this is the four phases of any project you are going to work on. Now, let me give you an idea about final year project, because some of you already in level 4 and others are doing assignments or projects within their courses, even if they are in level 2, 3 or so. In my experience in supervising students, engineering students, I mean, my career, I supervise many students actually. And usually projects given in 2 semesters. Semester 1, project 1, and semester 2 is the extension, which is the project number 2, which means extension to complete the full project. What happens is, usually in between semester 1 and 2, students present their progress, what they did in semester 1 and what they are intended to do in semester 2. And from experience, I found that the students who present very well in this interim, let me say, presentation or interim report, what they do, they get the highest at the end because they started good and they, let me say, work according to the schedule. They come up with the, let me say, results, and they analyze and discuss their results. So they continue in the same way. I mean, their work is consistent. But students who fail to present their work in the middle, difficult to present good at the end. So it's a continuous process, starting from day 1 to, or let me say, from A to Z, from the first day to the end of the project. And here I would like to quote this, say, gaining knowledge is the first step to wisdom, but sharing it is the first step to humanity. You may, let me say, we may watch a movie, as example, in cinema or where on the TV, and we will enjoy it and we understand it. But when somebody asks you to explain or give information about this movie, this is something else. How to represent what you already saw, what you watch on the TV or in the cinema. This is related to your experience or presenting things. Okay, now this is what we are talking about. In the project, you work on project for 1 year as example. You get the knowledge. You did many experimental work. But when people ask you to present what you did in 1 year and they give you just 5 minutes or 10 minutes, this is something else. How you can explain and transfer the knowledge you have in simple way to others, this is what we call it presentation in this stage. Now, why anybody would like to share or let me say present their work? There are many reasons. As I mentioned, they can share knowledge with others, and this give you self-satisfaction, train you to also you see yourself. Did you understand what you already have in your project? Obtain feedback from others. Sometimes we present our work to get feedback, either from the supervisor, from our colleagues, and also to highlight the important achievement in the project. And beside, definitely marketing your project, your team, your faculty, and your university. Now, you work on science, and this is right. As you know, we have science and art usually. When you work on science, if we go to dictionaries and try to find definition for science and art and mix of them to come up with what we want to say about presentation, we can, I will look here to the left-hand side, the science, have a look at this, let me say, definition. A system or method reconciling practical end with scientific laws. So it's simply talking about science. Then this is what we are doing in engineering. We use scientific methods, scientific approaches or techniques to solve engineering a problem. and to meet our objectives. Whatever the objectives we want to do, we met them through execution of the project. And this is our part. But the art here is the skill required by experience, study, or observation. So art is something else, talking about, let me say, skills we have. So how we can use art to present scientific problem. Our let me say, I can say it is artistical expression linked to the scientific project we have. So it's mix of art and science. I mean, you know the science, you know the project, you work on the project, but how you present it like an actor in a movie. It's like doing movie, short movie for people so they understand your work. This is what we do in the presentation. Now, for a presentation, there is a components. The main components are three: introduction, body, and conclusion. Introduction in the range of 10 to 15. Body is 70 plus minus, and conclusion around 10. So the more focus will be on the body, our project. Many students, what they do, I found this clear in many presentations, that they focus on the introduction, even if they have a lot to say in the body part. No, my advice, always focus on your work. Introduction just to introduce the topic to others, to the audience, but focus on your work. You have many results to present. People are interested in your results, not in the introduction itself. And you need to tell them, but you need to think what to tell. Okay, there are many things you need to uh, have a look. From experience, I found that many people, what they do, they don't plan. They directly jump to the, let me say, action. No, my advice is always a plan. Plan the work and then work the plan. Put your idea, sit in your office and start writing notes. Do like architecture or flowchart of the process, what you want to talk about from A to Z, so that people will understand your work. So plan first, think first, and then do the action. Now let's come to the title. Title, the first slide usually is the project title and the name of the presenter. Definitely, if you would like to add a little bit more information, such as the faculty, the stream, the specialty, it's fine, the year, but usually make it as simple as you can. And the title, make sure you have a clear title, simple title, and at the same time focus, specific title. This is important because this is the first step. If it is successful step, then everything will be fine later on. Don't, let me say, put a title which mislead the presenter, the audience. They will understand something else not required from the presentation. And then take them with the flow. I mean, step by step, you are going in a journey, step by step, until they reach the conclusion at the end, which is the green, that last step. But put the contents as usual. You can see here, sometime the first slide is about the title, the second slide is about the content. We need to say about the contents of the presentation, what people expected from us to talk about. Okay, so deliver the main topic. This is the body. Deliver your arrangements, deliver the facts, cover more grounds, tell stories. This is all this coming through the body. Don't forget that in your project, you spend time more than the audience in doing something. And definitely you face many, let me say, barriers, or many experience while you are executing your project. Share this information with others. As example, you are talking about design a system or a circuit. While you work in the workshop or in the lab, let me say, something wrong happened and you come up with odd results. Let me say, talk about this odd results. Talk about this case happened to you while you are working. Share your experience with other people. Are interested to see your experience, what you found while you are working on the project. And the last point is the conclusion. We talk about introduction, body, and then the conclusion. Conclusion, like, I mean, when you start, like takeoff and landing, the conclusions like landing Okay, so you need to summarize first the topic. People listen to you through the introduction and body about the project, about the results. You discuss your results. Now let's summarize. Summarize doesn't mean you talk much or you write much. No, try to make it as simple as you can and highlight the main achievements of your project. Okay, make it flow, simple, let me say landing, easy landing. And then definitely resources, marking, and thank you. These are extra issues need to be considered, such as you need to add at the end the part of the reference at least. You take you talk, let me say, your information from resources. If you have data taken from some organization or website, you also acknowledge them. Copyright, if there are copyright material, you need to mention them. Try to, at the end, when you close up, this is the called close up at the end, or appendices there, is to market your work, your team, your research, your skills, and be grateful for people who support you. If there are any people to be acknowledged, please, this is good. This is give impression for the audience that you acknowledge support coming from everybody. Even acknowledge the audience that attend your presentation, or they give, or the participate, they give their feedback or participate in asking questions. And now I will give some tips about project presentation guidelines, the good things you need to remember when you do presentation. The first point is know your topic, audience, and venue. You need to know your topic. You don't go to the presentation when you are not ready. You didn't spend time to revise your. Some of our students in final year project, they come to the final presentation without reading their report, their thesis. No, my advice to remember the thesis, read the thesis, your thesis, read about the topics, prepare yourself, and also who are the audience will attend your presentation. As example, I know now IEEE group, they will attend my presentation. They are from engineering background, blah, 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 blah. The same thing, when you go outside in a company, you need to know who attend your presentation. Are they part of the audience, maybe the main supervisor or managers or just your colleagues, or because this will make a difference in giving the presentation. And the venue, I mean, go to the room early, check the room, check the technology there, sit on the seats and look to the let me say the screen, see if it's clear or not at the end, see if the voice approaching the audience. These are important things to check before you start. Your presentation usually should, as I mentioned, the second slide should be the contents, and it could contain the introduction, methodology, objective, results, discussion, conclusion, future recommendation. These are the main, but you can add definitely more details in the contents. I mean, you can, as example, in results and discussion, you can make more the subsections just to classify the results, like classifying your results and so on. So make sure that you put your information here in a logic way to make the things flow easily and the story look like starts soft and finish soft. Okay. Avoid putting much sentences and let me say words in your or text in your presentation. There is rule called 7x7, which means try to make your slide with not more than 7 lines, each line not more than 7 words. So reduce the, let me say, the number of texts and words on, because people they didn't came to read from the slide. They want to see you, and I will show you some example later on. Now, use positive language. Use positive verbs while you are presenting your work, you are pitching the project, or describing or completing the project. Some of the positive words are design, achieve, facilitate, refine, modify. These are positive words you can use. Even the language you are using, try to be positive. Don't be pessimistic, be optimistic while you are presenting your work. Stick to the time limits. I mean, you need, before you come to any presentation, you know that the time limit given to you. Okay. I mean, if it is 10 minutes, prepare yourself for 10 minutes. If it is 20, 20. Don't cross the time limits. This gives bad impression about your presentation. It's not open. People have other things to do, and they come and they give you this time located for you. So use only this time. Don't cross the time. Like exam, if you are given 2 hours, you cannot cross 2.5 as example. You have to stick with the 2 hours. Use all your available tools to present your work. Use figures, photo, tables, quotes, equations, whatever you think useful to express your project, your information, use them. Because make sure to use whatever it take from you to transfer your information to others. Okay? Don't give much. I mean, it's not the point is not giving much information or more information. No, it's talking about how you transfer the information easily using different tools. You may need just one figure rather than 7 figures to give one knowledge or transfer one knowledge to the audience. As they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Rather than you talk much, you just show the figures and then try to talk about it. People will understand directly because it's giving impression about the information you would like to transfer. And also try to spend much time as you can on the figures. Some people they sketch their graphs in Excel, but you didn't find the professional touch, which show, let me say, engineering skills in the figures. Use whatever given. Some you may use as example. This is pie chart. You know the pie chart. You may use 2 dimension or 3 dimension, or you rather than here you definitely we are focused on the quality of the information in pie chart. In bar chart we focus on the quantity. Okay, so which one you are looking for? You need to ask yourself before using this or that type of graph. Also use colors, or let me say markers, to make sure to distinguish between, as example, in this figure, the colored one is more better than the gray one here, because from the color I can directly see that the blue is the best one, which is the work. But here they are similar in I mean, you don't know which one. As example, 45 on the gray, let me say, figure. I don't know which one is them. It's not clear. But also at the same time, avoid ugly makeup. Some people they use color more than required. As example, this is a figure taken from a resource. You can see the y-axis here in megawatt. This is the power. It's a red, while the x-axis the days in blue. The bar chart here is red. This bar is brown. This bar is yellow. The background is purple, and so it's like ugly makeup for you don't use more than the required. I mean, use colors, but avoid to be ugly colors. Declare bias, copyright sources, acknowledgement to those who help you. Some projects are already sponsored, as example, from research council or from university, fund coming from somewhere. You acknowledge these people. And also, if some people help you in doing the project, such as technician, as example, you acknowledge them. Acknowledge your supervisor. Acknowledge people attended and give you. Acknowledge your family. It's good to give credit where credit is due. And prepare yourself for any technical issues. When you go to the seminar room, or let me say where you are going to present your information, go early. Check the technology if it is work, the data show, the laptop or computer, the electricity inside the room. Prepare yourself if something happen. As example, you may take some print copy of your presentation, handout, distributed for others. You may bring, as example, markers and write on the whiteboard just in case if something wrong went. Okay, so this is important to be ready for any technical problems. Avoid using long sentence, or let me say difficult words. So people they cannot understand. Even you cannot, let me say, read them from the slides. And as I mentioned, for better representation, you need to put your ideas in this way: introduction, problem statement, research. It's like, have a look wherever you go in the world, in any university, in any specialty. This is the sequence of any project, starting from introduction so people understand the topic itself. Then the problem statement, which contain the driven questions for your project, the research questions also highlighted from this problem statement, and then objectives, definitely it could be in this part, or the scope and limitation if you would like to put limitation or constraints. What are the materials or methods or softwares you are going to use? And then your results. Focus more on your results, present your results in more details, in a better way to convince others with the what you would like to, what you come up with, and definitely project milestones if they are, and conclusions. Practice before you go to the presentation. Some students, they come and they never practice, or even practice once. No, my advice, practice many times, as much as you can. Each one separate, and then the group, the team themselves together. And please try, while you are practicing with your team, try to criticize your colleagues. They criticize you, and this way that you will learn from their feedback. Pay attention to body language. Use your body language. You see, while I'm talking, I'm using my hands. I'm moving right and left. Smile as much as you can. Don't come to the presentation and you are looking like you are sad or not confident enough. No, smile all the time, which a good transfer. And by the way, this is not only in the presentation or a project. In your life, smile as much as you can. This is important. It's spread from your face to others like influence. Use your personality. Okay, you have many skills and personality things. I mean, try to use them in your presentation. Take pauses. Don't talk continuously. This has happened to me, by the way. Many times I forget myself when I enjoy talking with others, and I don't pause, let me say, continuously. But I try to remind myself, stop sometime, just 1-2 seconds, and then continue. Eye contact with others. Some people, when they present their work, they look to the whiteboard and they don't see that because they feel shy, as example. When you practice, make sure to be in front of people and looking to the people. Tonality, it means sometimes you need to increase your tone or reduce tone or slow or increase the speed. This will attract the people to the point and give, as example, you are reading statement, and when you reach to the point we would like to highlight and focus on, you slow down. People will understand that the next words will be important. Here I will give examples about the slides and how important you make them as much as simple and clear. This is a project I work on 2019. I completed. It's about 1.3 megawatt solar system, cost 1 million Omani Riyal for Majis company. See, the title is large, just Hussein, Suhail, that's it. Very simple. Some people, they put grounds, the background, they use, let me say, style, font style, which is cannot read easily. No, make it easy as much as you can. And then you put the second slide is the content. This is in my presentation when I give this to Majis people, sorry. This is how it look like my slides. While this is one of my students working in this project, these are really interesting project, and the students are one of the top students I supervise in final year project. They graduated from Suhail University 2015-16. But see their first slide. By the way, 2 of the team of these team members are doctors. They finished their PhD and working in universities. See the font they choose here. It's difficult to read, and they make it italic. And the same thing for outline. This is the first slides they present, and later on when I discuss with them, they change the slide shape and the font type. This is, as example, my page in ResearchGate. I advise you to register in ResearchGate. I mean, it's good for your knowledge and to start following the knowledge and scientist. And I try to see here to make it as much as clear. See the information does impact. I wrote here just one sentence which show my interests, and there are many things I studied and investigated and did research and run research in this, but just one statement express everything. So try to make your presentation, the statements, the information you give to the audience as much simple as you can, but focus. This is slides from presentation I attended in UK 2008. for one of my colleagues, have a look at the colors. The background of these slides is blue. The title is red. The name of the author is white and larger than the title, which is not right. It's supposed to be slow. I mean, when you look to the other slide, also green and red, and when you look to this slide, I mean, you lose the attention with the words because you focus on the blue color. Blue color take your attention. So avoid having such slides. Now, also part of the tip is effective utilization of the space. This is Steve Jobs, if you remember. See the screen behind him. Just he wrote 3 words, one more thing. Very simple, and start talking for half hour. Always people look up to him, to his information he deliver. Very simple. And always they remember there is one more thing. Okay? So make it simple. Let people focus on you, not on the text. Use minimum, let me say, use of words. Font size also important. I mean, font size, color, type is important, as I mentioned. Also, for the quality, it's important to focus on the key phrases. Okay? And this is example of Simon Sink. I advise you to see this presentation, is 18.34. Many people always watching this because it's talking about the golden circle, about what, how, why. And I advise you to have a look at this video. Now, you know, whatever we do in the world, in our life, in our specialty, people usually they know what they do, but less people they know how they do what they do. And the important issue and the quality and what I want you to focus on is to know why we do what you are doing. Okay? Why? Why is important? Because why, when you say why, I mean, it's like you are saying, I believe in you. You remember Arthur King when in his speech long time back, he say, I have a dream. People in Apple company, they say we believe in. You see, when you talk in this way with others, you let me say, give the confidence and transfer it to others. They don't want you to talk about something you are taking from the internet or from the resources. No. You are talking about something you believe in. You are confident of in this project or this topic. And Elon Musk also focus on simplicity when he show some products for Tesla. Nothing, I mean, on the board, just him and the device, and then he start expressing the how it work, what's the benefit for humanity. He used also body language. Also focus on what they call it logos, ethos, and pathos. Logos related to the audience. I mean, the reason behind, or let me say, the argument transferred to the audience audience. And the ethos is talking about your let me say, authority to present your data and information. In the first point, which is the logo, you use definitely data, statistics, and so on. And ethos, how to present them. And pathos is how you make things while you are presenting, is more emotional, so you attract people. Okay, you attract people who are using their emotion in a one way or another while you are presenting your work. And at the end, summary, you need to put summary at the end, which usually we say conclusions. Okay, to how you work, what is the project about, how you work through the project. This is in brief, and then you focus on the main highlighted points to make close up for the, or let me say, the achievement to make close up for your project. These are some resources I took some slides or photos from, and I advise you always to cite things you are taking from. And these are some material copyright. I just need to know, you know, to know that I took from these slides, from these websites, and from these let me say, organization or journals. And so when I talk from them, which day, which year, okay? This is the credit for you. When you cite people, this is the credit for you. And here I completed my presentation. Now I will wait your question to receive. I will stop the record and then wait your questions and discussion.